Good day, everyone. My name is Shomide Samoluwamuwa. I'm your host on Getting Real with Sam. On today's episode, I'll be starting with a quote from the 22nd and 24th President of the United States of America, Daniel Cleveland, which states, and I quote, "No investment is so safe, secure, and enrich the owner like an undeveloped realty." And the most interesting part of it all is the fact that over the past years, since the creation of the world to this very present moment, real estate has continuously served as the most developed and the most secured form of investment, not just in Nigeria alone, but in every part of the world. On the present recent research and the present analogy being presented to the whole world, we discovered the whole world has reached a population of 8 billion as at this particular moment, and in which Nigeria had a population of over 200 million. With this rising population comes rising demand for affordable homes, housings, and real estate is definitely set to boom. In 2020, we all experienced pandemic, and at that point in time, it affected a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses shut down. A lot of investment was lost. In between all those years, only one thing stayed intact, and that is what we refer to as real estate investment. And that is one of the most interesting and the most paramount parts of today's topic. What I'll be talking about, real estate investment in Nigeria. Why you should invest in real estate in Nigeria. As we all know, real estate is one of the most secure, safest form of investment because it has more stability than bond and stock, and it's not so much risk with level of uncertainty. The more you hold on to your land, the higher the chance of getting better return on your investment. And over the years, it has been the most secured and the most safest form of investment, and it has continuously proved to be the same. The first reason why you should invest in real estate in Nigeria is for financial stability. Over the years, Naira inflations have actually crippled a lot of investments basically in Nigeria. And only one investment over time have actually stood the test of time, and that is real estate. With various Naira devaluation policies and various other government policies that are put in place to curb various inflation, as at a point in time affected one's investment in Nigeria. But over the time, as I've stated earlier, the only investment that actually guarantee you efficiency, that actually guarantee you continuous return on your investment has always been real estate. So when we talk about real estate, it's all encompasses about owning a piece of land or owning a rental property that will generate you continuous passive income. However, it's worth of note. Many people do believe that when we talk about real estate is for people who have millions of naira. Like you have to be a multi-millionaire before you can actually invest in real estate. But that analogy is extremely so wrong. With just some little amount of money, you can always begin your journey into real estate by buying a land in some areas that has great prospects, in some urban areas that have great prospects, and definitely over time you'll definitely reap your return on your investment. So the first reason, as I've stated earlier, it's guaranteed financial stability. So it's one of the best ways to actually protect your funds away from inflation, naira devaluations, or all forms of government policies that actually affect other investments. The second reason why you actually need to invest in real estate practice in Nigeria is actually to take advantage of the unregularized price policies, especially in Nigeria. When it comes to real estate markets in Nigeria, the owner of a particular property determines whatsoever price he or she wants to rent out his or her properties, either a land or a house. And that is a very good way for you to actually generate passive income in Nigeria. Most times, even when you see two different property of the same worth in the same location, the price of those properties might vary. And it's extremely so interesting that you discover that even with the variety of those properties, people still had demand for them and actually buy those properties, or they actually rent those properties for the individual purpose. So it's actually a great source for you to actually generate your own passive income. So real estate practice in Nigeria is actually a very good way to actually generate passive income, especially when you invest in building some properties in some widespread locations in Nigeria. So they can either serve as Airbnb, where people can actually rent instead of getting an hotel, where you can actually generate from the data we had, that you can actually rent it out from a range of 15,000 to 35,000 naira per day. Just imagine how much the passive income will be over the year. And the rate of maintenance are kind of extremely so low, because people who use such facilities are people who understand the value of such investment. So it's one of the most interesting part of things that you can actually take advantage of in Nigeria. And then the third reason why you should invest in real estate in Nigeria is definitely due to appreciation. In Nigeria, there are a lot of instances where people actually buy a land for 300,000 and in a matter of few months sell it for over 3 million naira, 4 million naira, and gain over 100% return on their investment in such a very short period. And the more you hold on to your property, the more the return on your investment. So appreciation in real estate in Nigeria is, as I've said earlier, prices in Nigeria's real estate market is not regularized, and it's one of those things you should actually take advantage of as an investor. So basically, you can buy a property today for 3 million naira and decide to sell the following day for 4 million naira. That's what you want to buy. That's what you want to sell your property. And anyone who is interested will actually buy at that certain amount. But it might be sometimes so difficult to actually get buyers, because there might be some valuation with other varieties of other landed properties readily available. Appreciation in Nigeria real estate market is extremely so obvious, and is one of those things you should actually take advantage of if you haven't bought into real estate practice in Nigeria. I've had instances of various people actually calling on to me to help them check out the properties, and the buyer giving us a fixed price even when it doesn't really worth that. But at that point in time, we had no choice. The buyer had no choice than to buy it at a price the seller intended to sell it. So that's one of the most interesting parts why you should actually invest in real estate in Nigeria. The fourth reason why you should actually invest in real estate in Nigeria is that it's guaranteed stability. One of the most interesting things there is the fact that when you buy a particular property at a fixed amount, be rest assured you're not going to be selling it back at that same amount again, because the most interesting thing, as I've said earlier, is that almost all properties in Nigeria undergo appreciation, and it's one of those things that you tend to enjoy in investing in real estate in Nigeria. So it's guaranteed stability and it protects your funds away from inflation. When other policies are affecting other sectors, real estate sectors in Nigeria have continuously been on the rise, because there's always overwhelmed demand for where people will live. So it's one of those things you should take advantage of. So if you haven't bought real estate in Nigeria now, so basically I've given you some reasons why you should actually look into it as one of the best ways to actually protect your fund from inflation, protect your fund from naira devaluation. Is actually a way you can enjoy a massive return on investment, and also save yourself away from falling to unnecessary Ponzi schemes investment. The safest investment you can ever make in anywhere in this world is actually buying a landed properties. So it's actually something you will regret. But before you buy, make sure you do all your thorough analysis, make sure you get your proper valuations, and make sure you do your proper background check before you buy any landed property in Nigeria, because it's one of the base of actually investing in real estate in Nigeria. So it's one of those things we'll actually be talking about, and we're looking at a way to solve them. So so you join me in my next episode section. I'm so glad to have you all here, and it's a pleasure having you. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can just do that by liking and subscribing to this video. Thank you and God bless.